Have you ever noticed how quickly time can waste away while you are on social media? Overuse of social media is a growing problem in today's society. Limiting time on social media can be beneficial for everyone in many aspects. I know that limiting time on social media will be beneficial for you because I did it myself. I decided to stay off social media for 3 months. I never realized how much time I wasted that could have been spent doing quality things. This newfound time allowed me to spend more quality time with my family and friends, and it also gave me time to be more productive with my schoolwork as well as household chores. First, I will discuss how social media disrupts relationships. Then I will discuss how social media can minimize productivity. Finally, I'll explain how social media can give you a distorted version of reality. So, first we're going to talk about how does social media disrupt relationships. Extensive time on social media takes away from time spent with family. How many times have you gone out to dinner and seen families and even friends disconnected because they're staring at the screens of their cell phones? I know from my own life, the first thing that my family does when we go into a restaurant or somewhere is we give my cousins either an iPad, a phone, a tablet to keep them occupied from the time being and keep them quiet. Even though that this does serve the purpose, that still they're very disconnected with our family. It is near impossible to carry on a conversation, watch a movie, or even have dinner while family members are on their cell phones. Statistics show, according to healthychildren.org, almost 75% of teens own a smartphone. 25% of teens describe themselves as constantly connected to the internet. 76% of teens use at least one social media site. More than 70% of teens visit multiple social media sites such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And 4 of 5 households own a device used to play video games. When taking time off social sites, conversation will have more substance. For example, you will talk about that person and their day rather than talking about the lives of those online. So now that we've talked about how social media can disrupt your family relationships, we're going to move in to talk about how friendships can be altered through the overuse of social media. Social networks do not allow you to interact with friends in a substantial way. Before social media became a large part of society, if you considered people your friends, you did more than just post on their timeline for their birthday. You actually gave them a telephone call or actually planned an evening to meet up to eat or even for lunch. These social sites cannot sustain relationships. Friendships are always built on quality time spent together, and rather than tweeting back and forth, liking each other's statuses or commenting on each other's statuses. True friendships require face-to-face communication. So limited time on social networks frees up and allows quality time to be spent with friends. Now that we've talked about how social media affects family and friends, we're going to move into how it can affect relationships. Social media causes negative effects on relationships with your spouse or significant other. An example of a negative effect due to social media is jealousy. It is easy for jealousy to arise if your significant other is in a picture with someone posted on an online site. Not only can it cause jealousy, but participation in social media can open doors for meeting new people and eventually the opportunity to chat with those of the opposite sex. Limiting time on social media will give you more time to spend with your significant other and possibly save your relationship from confrontation. So now that we have discussed how social media disrupts relationships, we're going to now move in and talk about how social media can minimize productivity. Excessive time on social media can take away from time to do household chores. A statistic states Americans aged 18 through 64 who use social networks say they spend an average of 3.2 hours per day doing so, according to marketing charts. An abundance of cleaning and household maintenance could get done in this 3.2 hours a day that this statistic showed that people spent on social networks. When using this extra time to vacuum, to wash dishes, mop, do laundry, or even yard work, it creates a more enjoyable environment for your home. As you can see, productivity would abound if there was not so much time wasted on social networks. Now we're going to move in and talk about how schoolwork tends to be neglected due to social networking. Social network comes to be a big block in a student's life while studying. I know in my own life, as I'm studying for tests or if I'm doing homework or whatever and my phone is laying on my bed, my phone lights up and says so-and-so liked this picture on Instagram. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to click on it, I'm going to scroll through Instagram, find the picture, and then I'm going to see who liked the picture, what picture it was, and then for the next 30 minutes that I could be used studying and getting ready for that test or doing homework, I'm spent on social media. It's taken away from my time to better my future. So I believe that less time on social media allows more time to study and do homework. And as a result, these students who has kept their time and used it wisely, their grade has been improved and impacted tremendously. All students love to maintain good grades, and although some allow social networks to stand in the way, limiting time on these networks can help make this achievement possible. Now we're going to move in and talk about how jobs are not done to their full capacity due to the overuse of social media. It is obvious that no one can do a job adequately while social networking. Although so many people try to do both, the tasks may get done, but not with quality workmanship. It is not possible to give your job your very best while trying to update your Facebook status. An example of this is how many times have you gone down the road and seen people, past people on the road that are looking down on their phone screens, whether they're texting and driving or scrolling through a social network site and driving. Their job at that point is to operate that vehicle, but they're not doing it adequately. They're not giving it 100% because they're too focused on what's going on their cell phones. Although they are operating the vehicle and keeping it safe for both them and you, they're not doing the best job that they possibly can because half their brain's focused on the social site and half their brain's focused on what it needs to be. So when an employee limits their time on social media, they can better focus on the task at hand and provide quality work, which could lead to an advancement in the workplace. As we have seen, social media does disrupt relationships and productivity. Now we're going to move in and talk about how it can give you a distorted version of reality. Social media leaves viewers with a false view of reality. As social networks evolve over the years, it has created a perception of what one should look like. Society calls people to be driven by competition, by status, and achievement. This causes people to post things based on what they want to be seen as rather than what they really are. This can cause insecurities, self-esteem issues, and a false view of reality. In my visual aid, I have obviously made the title Social Media Good or Bad, put some social sites that I myself own, and I have showed here pictures of people posting stuff online before of the actual picture, and then on this side is the after the filter or whatever has been added to it. So as you can see, apps have been created and you can download that can totally change your appearance. They can give you a flawless complexion. They can make your teeth whiter, a slimmer face and a body, smaller nose, and even wider eyes. This causes a false representation of oneself. Limiting time on social media will prevent you from unrealistic comparisons and self-esteem issues. In conclusion, I have explained how social media disrupts relationships, how it can minimize productivity, and how it can give you a distorted version of reality. Overuse of social media is a growing problem in today's society, and as quick as technology is advancing, the problem will only worsen. Limiting your time on social media is an answer to this problem. If you want more quality time with family and friends, want to be more productive in your homes, in your schools, and jobs, then limited time on social media will prove to be beneficial for you as well as those around you. Today my sites came from an article called 7 Reasons Why You Need to Take a Break from Social Media. An article called Social Networking Eats Up 3+ Hours per Day for the Average American User. An article written by Anera Sophia Van Zyl. The Journal of Information Systems Research and Innovation. And last, Why to Limit Your Child's Social Media Use. Thank you for listening to my speech.